So Nicolas, thanks so much for your time. I mean, yeah, the Stokvel industry, a lot of money in that industry, a lot of opportunities to tap into.
Yes.
Exactly what is the property is Stokvel doing there? All
right, well, property Stokvel, it's a vehicle to create wealth for the black community, and also, actually, it is for everyone, but I can say mainly for the black community, because that's where we are still suffering. And you look at the banking system, it doesn't give us justice, because we are still suffering the effects of apartheid up until today.
No,
so
sure.
Property Stokvel, it's a club, it's a Stokvel that we created, you know, to create wealth. We're focusing on property, we're focusing on land, we also are focusing on franchises.
Okay, so how many people in the Stokvel?
So far we have 58 currently. We have 58 members. And
profile those members. Is it young people? Is it old people? Is it mixed?
It's mixed. We have young, we have older. It's just mixed. It is mixed.
I mean, Nicolas, the contributions to your Stokvel, the monthly contributions are pretty steep. I mean, 2,000 Rand a monthly. So I imagine that the people who are members are professionals.
Yes, we have professional. Majority are working, self-employed, others. But we have, you know, people that are working, you know, they know that month I'll be contributing this. And I think the contributions are going very well, because they have a good habit. They pay in advance. Others, they pay 3 months in advance. I mean, we received a few calls where others, they are saying, we'd like to, you know, contribute for the whole year or even 2 years. But so far, it's something that is doable, because, you know, with us, it's something that is doable. I mean, you look at 2.1, it's what people are like, oh, okay, I can afford 2.1. But you look at what is happening. If I give an example, I said, if you buy a 450,000 house where monthly you are paying 5,000, if you times that by 12 months, that's 60,000. And if you times that by 20 years, that amount to 1.2 million.
Sure.
Now, the worst part is when you wake up in the morning, the president has reshuffled. You know, the interest rate, it's going, you know, it's going to literally affect you. So you're going to pay more than 1.2 in other ways. But with the property Stokvel, we are saying no to 20 years, no to interest rate, and no to bond. And how this is possible. So on the property Stokvel, we have two phases. Phase one, it's a pool account where we're contributing 2,100 monthly, and we deduct 100 Rand for legal purposes and for administration. Now that means we are targeting 100 members. If you say 100 times 2,000, that's 200,000 in a month. And that means in 5 months we'll be having 1 million. In 10 months we'll be having 2 million. So we're aiming to raise at least 4.8 million. With 4.8 million, we're going to meet as a property Stokvel members to discuss what type of franchise we're going to buy. Now, when we buy a franchise, that means each and every member that is part of us is going to be a shareholder, because we will register the Stokvel as a trust or a cooperative, so we can operate as a business.
But then, I mean, traditionally, when people contribute to Stokvels, I mean, traditionally, it's the end of the year, you know, you've got money to buy groceries, or you know, you've got, you know, money for your Christmas clothes or something, right?
Yes.
So now you're talking about big ticket items. You're talking about either a property, where I imagine that your members will earn some form of income on a monthly basis through rentals. You're also talking about the possibility of franchising, but there's a lot more risks involved in the things you're talking about compared to just buying groceries. So how am I as a member protected from the loss of potential income if the investment goes wrong?
All right. In any business, there's risk involved, but we will hire professionals to minimize the risk. So we'll also do market research. So we don't just doing things by saying as members, yeah, we're just taking a decision. We will hire professionals to make sure that our initial investment, we get a return. And also the return won't be monthly, but it will be annually. So it's something that is doable, but we're doing it professional, like what corporates are doing. But if you look at the reason why we came with this, the Stokvel economy in South Africa, it's worth 49 to 50 billion. And that 50 billion, it goes to the supermarket and retail. And majority are the black communities are contributing that amount. So they buy food, they eat, and then so what? The struggle continues. But with the property Stokvel, also, we're only going to contribute for 2 years. After 2 years, we stop contributing, and then we take the money, we're going to buy a franchise or a property. But the reason for a franchise is because a franchise, it has possibilities of, you know, profiting from 500,000 up to more than $1 million. Now, let's take, for example, we franchising, it could be Build It, Micro, or it could be any food franchise. If it's performing well, where monthly we're making $1 million in a month, that means in a year we could be making 12 million. Now, we take half of that 12 million, obviously after paying SARS and company liabilities. We take half of that amount, we pay out to members as a dividend. The other half, we reinvest it by buying what? More properties. But that's not the end of it. Also, when we reach a certain stage where our portfolio is big, we're going to introduce phase 2. Our phase 2, that's where we're going to buy each other houses. And that's where a lot of people, they ask, how possible is this?
You know, Nicolas, some people might call you a big dreamer, but I see you have got big ambitions there. How about we catch up in 2 years? Once you've reached the targeted amount, you're on the verge of buying your franchise,
yes,
and we pick up the conversation there once again.
I mean, that would be great.
Nicolas,
I mean, we'll be happy, obviously, to have something to show.
For sure.
Exactly.
For sure. Nicolas, let's leave it there. Thanks so much for
your
time. Of course, that was Nicolas Manyike, founder and chairperson of the property Stokvel Investment Club.